All right, my sussy bakas. So today I was talking to my wife, obviously, because everything I always talk about my wife. That's why everybody loves me. And she mentioned that Jeffree Star went on a rant about non-binary people, and then of course I saw this video from Brett, Ben Shapiro's younger sister. It says just how based is Jeffree Star. I thought Jeffree Star was non-binary. I could have swore they said that. I could have swore because I think that's what it's about. They went on a rant about that, right? But let's see what we got here.
Welcome back to the comment section. I'm Brett Cooper.
More like Brett Cooper. Sorry, I made that joke before I started the segment, and now it's awkward. So if you're watching this not live, you're missing out.
Today we're going to talk about a bit of a controversial subject. It's something that I didn't realize was so controversial because I did not grow up on the YouTubes. We're talking about Jeffree Star, who is a ridiculously controversial figure, especially today. He was one of the original beauty bloggers, YouTubers. I never watched his stuff. I have no idea.
All the successful beauty everything's are men. You ever realize that? Gay men, or most of them at least. And if they're, it's true. It's kind of true. Wow, this is actually messing me up. Wait, is this the end? Die. Cool. But yeah, so it seems
the kind of controversies that he has been surrounded in. But when I've talked about him in the past,
Ben Shapiro Rule 63. Wow, I should ban you for that, brother. Thank you.
half of you guys are like, oh yeah, based Jeffree, killing it these days. And then half of you guys are still very angry about things that he did in the past. I have no idea what he did. So I'm just going to focus on the now and what he is saying about gender identity and transgenderism. But before we get into that, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to this channel if you've not already, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a comment section or off the clock episode. Jeffree Star caused a bit of an internet frenzy a couple of weeks ago. He posted this selfie with an alleged NFL player. He was like, going home to Wyoming with my NFL boo. And we just saw the back of the football player's head. And everybody flipped out and was like, oh my God, who's Jeffree's new boyfriend? Who is this? Everybody was trying to figure out. There were like drafts going on. It was like fantasy football, but Jeffree Star edition of everybody trying to figure out like what the ears and the back of the head of this football player looked like so they could identify it. I was even bought into it. I made a couple of TikToks about it. Like people were literally...
Why? Okay, I guess you found that interesting. Okay.
Really tracking NFL players trying to figure out if they were going to Wyoming.
Okay, so I decided, oh shit, buddy, I gotta dig a little deeper.
I think though most of those NFL players have been using VPNs, hopefully ExpressVPN, so nobody could actually figure out where they were.
Oh, that was a clever ad. Most of them have been using VPNs. Probably not. I mean, maybe. I don't know. Interesting.
Because if there was somebody out there who kept a log of every single thing that you did every minute of the day, like that would actually be very creepy.
That's your problem, bro. You want to look at the porn I'm looking at? You're just going to be disgusted, and I don't really care. So
is what happens every time you go online without a VPN. Internet providers like AT&T and Verizon are allowed to store logs of every website you have ever visited, and then they stitch together a detailed profile which includes your browsing history, your online searches, and your location data. They can legally sell this to anyone, and that is why I use ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN reroutes your internet connection through their secure server.
But if they don't steal my information, how will I get targeted ads for the things that I really want and need?
So your internet provider cannot see or log what you do online. Using ExpressVPN has added just such a great layer of extra security and privacy in my life, which has given me peace of mind. Plus, it is incredible.
What are you using your browser for, girl? What the fuck?
Really easy to use. I'm terrible with technology, but even I can figure this out. You literally turn it on with a tap of a button, tap of a screen, and it works on all of your devices. So stop letting people keep logs of what you do online and visit expressvpn.com/Cooper. Visit expressvpn.com/Cooper and get 3 extra months free. Again, that is expressvpn.com/Cooper. If the NFL players are doing it, you need to be doing it too. Because we literally could not figure out who this player was. And then 2 days ago, he posted a photo with Taylor Lewin and said, look, it's my NFL boo. But that is not actually his NFL boyfriend, if he has one at all. So Taylor Lewin plays for the Tennessee Titans. He also has a podcast with Barstool. I think it's called Bussin' with the Boys. All of this, I think, was a publicity stunt for an episode that he did with Jeffree Star. That is what I'm thinking. That episode just came out. They talk about everything under the sun. In addition to how Jeffree Star got his start, starting his makeup brand, his YouTube channel, they talk about the NFL, and then they talk about the LGBTQ community, and we get Jeffree's hot take on it. And I just have a couple of clips to show you because they are very based. Like, not even based. It's just like common sense that people don't get anymore. So just watch these.
I'm not into all the other bullshit. I think
What other bullshit?
the they and them.
Yeah.
And all that extra shit that we added during the pandemic because everyone was so bored on their houses. They just started to make up more shit and more shit.
More stuff.
Yeah.
That's a chronically online thing.
Okay, interesting. All right, so it seems like so far Jeffree does have like an issue with non-binary people. Now I'm gonna be real with you. I don't quite get it. I'm not gonna lie, I don't quite get it. There are people though who just don't feel like, well, fundamentally speaking, trans people are people who like they don't feel like the gender they were born as or the sex they were born as is like their gender, right? I don't quite understand non-binary too much. I really don't get it that much, but you know, I have some friends who are non-binary and they're good people, and I don't think that they're lying or anything. And I think it's just, I guess, a bad relationship with what like the I don't know, man. I feel like there's a lot of girls, biological girls, I'm not trying to be offensive, that identify as non-binary because they're trying to separate themselves from being a woman, because like I don't know, the idea of what a woman is so sexualized that they want to like distance themselves from that sexualization. I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm sure that there are people who are valid when it comes to identity. Then I'm also sure that there are people who are lying for attention. Like I always talk about this. Like in high school, we all wanted to fit in. So like, you know, if you got a friend that's actually non-binary and you're like, oh, I'm non-binary too, because like, you know, maybe you think it's cool or something.
Lemon Grapsby became a member.
Hey, thank you so much for the membership, brother. For the small gut. So I just don't understand it too much, you know.
Drew became a member.
Hey, thank you so much. Oh, is it gonna roll through like every membership? No, it's not. Thank you so much for the small gut. I don't know, man. Personally, you know, it's something I don't quite understand. But I also don't. Wow, my actual life just got murdered. But I also don't like think it's that big of a deal. I don't think that the society's gonna collapse because people are identifying outside of man and woman. So
everybody was locked in their homes online, chronically online. Jeffree gets it.
That's where the conservatives like me, because I'm just real.
Yeah, you do have a conservative vibe to you.
Them. You're trans, you're male, or you're female.
And you're standing on that.
Get so mad when I say that. How are you a they? What the fuck does that mean? It's stupid is what it is.
Yeah.
But you need someone like me that looks like me to say it. Because if you say it, it turns into you're homophobic, you hate trans people, you hate gays. And it's just how you feel. You don't hate anyone. You just...
I mean, I feel like I'm like more accepting of non-binary people if I don't get it. But I also am like, I hate gays. So it's like one of those... Just kidding. Okay.
I think it's stupid.
Like, yeah, he's kind of right. Like, people that are within a community in some capacity usually have an easier time saying stuff about, like, the community for sure.
Because it's common sense. Jeffree makes a really incredible point that if any of us who do not identify as part of the LGBTQ community, if we say that, they will find any excuse to call us bigots, transphobes, homophobes, whatever. But the ironic...
I think part of it, more than anything else, like, even if you agree with Jeffree Star, I think is something that we should kind of get into the habit of, is not being disrespectful like Jeffree Star is being. So it's like one thing to be like, oh, hey, I disagree with this, blah, 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 blah. But that's different than saying like, oh, it's fucking stupid. You know what I mean? People are not going to respond well to that. I think it as a standard, I think we should try to be, you know, a little nicer to each other, a little more respectful in our disagreements. So
the thing is, they will still find a way to alienate him. They hate him because he says things like this. They hate him because he moved to a ranch in Wyoming and started buying guns and raising yaks. And they're
I think it's more than that. I just don't know what all of the specifics are, so I can't really speak to it too much.
Betraying their community. No, he's not. He's just being real. He's just being himself. Anyway, okay, that was not all he said. He also talked about young people identifying as trans, that was good.
I think when a parent tries to direct them to a certain way too young, not it. Not it. No.
The fact...
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, your parents should not be directing you to be trans. You know, like, there shouldn't be a goal. I don't know how often that's really happening. I don't think it's happening more than, you know, actual trans. This is happening, too. Steven Seagal character I'm playing right now sucks balls. Anyway. Yeah, I think that like we should all have that take. You shouldn't direct your kid to want to be trans. You shouldn't want your kid to be trans. I think it's an outlier, but there are definitely some people who want their kid to be fucking, you know, there's probably some woke people out there that are so woke that they want to have like a trans kid. You shouldn't want to have a trans kid. That's just like, if I have one, I'm going to love my kid, but like, you know, it's like, who would want to have a kid? Who would want their kid to be oppressed? You know what I mean?
That this is something that is spicy on the internet right now. People are clipping this and putting on TikTok and being like, oh my God, I can't believe he's saying this. It's kind of sad. It is sad because this should be common sense. Protecting kids. Saying this is absurd. A child cannot decide if they are a different gender. They are a kid. The fact that this is spicy is beyond me, but apparently it is.
If your daughter looks like a tomboy, it doesn't mean she wants to be a boy. It means she wants to explore her creativity, and you should let her be her.
Yeah, I agree with that too. That is not a conservative take. That is a progressive take. Just so you know. Saying that, like, if your daughter or your, like, and I would assume you mean it for your son too, let them explore their relationship with things in the world. If you have a boy, they could be a little more feminine. If you have a girl, they could be a little more masculine. Like, who really gives a shit? It's not that big of a deal. You know I've said that I'm a little apprehensive about my son having a dress. I still am, but that's still what Jeffree's saying is a progressive take. And you shouldn't be guiding your kid to be a tomboy or a tomgirl or whatever the fuck, or a fucking femboy. So yeah, but that's more of a progressive take. So
it means that she's being a kid. It's literally that simple. Anyway, this podcast
And then she might grow up and actually be trans.
This episode only came out on the 14th, so 2 days ago. It is just now starting to catch fire on social media, so I don't have any angry TikTok comments for you yet. But this is far from the first time that Jeffree Star has talked about.
This is supposed to be the comment section with Brett Cooper, okay? Not the non-comment section with Brett Cooper, okay?
Pronouns and gender identity. Literally just last year, he went on Jake Paul's podcast, Impulsive, and was asking the other hosts about this. It was just a great moment. Here's the 2-minute clip you have to watch.
I just have one question for Mike. What's my gender?
What's his or yours?
I just remember Mike trying to cockblock me and Andrew Schultz and he wasn't keeping it real.
Answer the question. What's Jeffree's gender?
You identify as he/he.
Yeah, bro.
All right.
I'm a dude. I love makeup. I love fashion. And, you know, I've been doing this for so long. Now these terms did not exist when I was a kid.
Do you f***
Sure.
them or no?
With what?
Yeah, of course it didn't exist when people when you were a kid. Like the conversation about trans people didn't even exist when people were like when you were a kid. Yeah.
What?
The terms.
No, I think half of it's stupid. I'm just gonna be real, but no one wants to ever say.
I find it interesting that Jeffree's like so adamant about bringing this topic of conversation up, though. Like brings it up just to talk about it any chance that they get. It seems like a little bit of a discussion, but hey, you know what are you gonna do?
Say that.
Will you get in trouble for saying it?
I don't care anymore.
You're beyond.
But I never cared. Yeah, you're only canceled if you let yourself be canceled.
I agree.
This is a
Like,
little truth.
I'm the
though.
devil. I killed someone, and we should all go.
But then, like, also let's keep in mind that like. But bro, I don't know. When we talk about cancel, damn, I just got canceled right now. We talk about cancellation, such a weird word. I mean, like at this point, canceling is just like a YouTube like thumbnail bait. Like, oh, so and so was fucking canceled. It doesn't really mean too much. You know, it's not really that much of a hot take to say that you don't get non-binary people as much as people want to say. So.
What do we do so wrong? So I just think that. I just like to always just speak my mind. So the whole culture of everyone saying that they're this and that, it's like, oh, it's too many labels.
Yes. You killed
Just be
somebody?
I agree with
yourself. I didn't physically do it.
Oh.
The fear in this man's eyes is hysterical to me. Like, obviously, Jeffree is not trying to bait him into anything. It's a joke. But this is like the genuine fear that people have around this whole discussion, which is just absurd.
Well, that's what happens when you jerk off like social narratives, like I'm assuming the Impulsive podcast tries to do. They just try to be fucking. They like to be fake woke. That's the problem. That's why you shouldn't fake. Damn, that guy shot me. I was playing as Will Smith. It's fucking hate crime. But that's why you just like that's one of the things. Like if you, dude, I'm trying to get down the hole. If you don't play the game of being like performatively woke, then you're not gonna really have these problems. Go down, you son of a bitch. Oh, it didn't work down. Okay, it didn't.
Dude, you just got pranked. Bet you didn't see that one coming, huh?
Like, y'all, I get that Jeffree might have been part of some controversies in the past, but this is so based. He's literally spitting facts. In every single clip we see, he genuinely does not care. That line about you only get canceled if you let yourself be canceled, if you take anything from this video, regardless of the gender identity crap, it should be that. Do not apologize for speaking your mind. Do not apologize for having an opinion that is different than other people's. You get to be in.
But you should try to be at least sensitive in your disagreements. Oh, didn't mean to do that. That's just something I would like to reinforce personally. You know what I mean? You don't agree with non-binary people. You just be respectful. That's a better word. Be respectful.
Control of how you respond to those situations. If they try to cancel you, say, I do not care. That is the proper response. You give them control and power over you. If you bend a knee, if you apologize, I'm so sorry. Yes, I'll learn. No, say fine. If you want to think that about me, that's okay. I do not care. That is the right attitude. I just love all of it. And all of the comments under this video, they were just so great and made me happy. Like this person said, heartbreaking, the worst person you know just made a great point. Like, come on, you know you like him. I see it happening. Somebody else said, I hope he keeps talking about this. He is a very famous gender non-conforming gay man. Tell the truth, man. There is no such thing as gender identity. Just be yourself without diluting yourself into an imaginary identity. This
I don't know, man. It just comes off as like imaginary identity. I don't know, man. Like, I feel like part of it is an age thing, you know? Like, this is what I mean. I feel like if Jeffree Star was born 5 years ago, they would like, or let's say Jeffree Star was born like 20 years ago, and so they're like 30 something. Instead of 30, Jeffree. All right, Jeffree Star is 37. If they were 20 years old, they were born 20 years ago instead of 37 years ago, Jeffree Star would be non-binary. Because I think that one of the phenomenons here is that back in the day, just when it comes to regular trans men and women, there were a lot of people like masculine women and feminine men who were like, oh, I'm a tomboy or a femboy or whatever you'd call it. But there was no option to transition. So the best that society could do for them and the best like option they had was like, oh, they're just like, you know, masculine or feminine women or men. Now with the option of being trans, I think it's like, oh, some of those people, if they were born earlier or later, they would have been like, oh, I'm trans. And it has to do with the availability of an actual treatment and like the psychological impact on that. It's like, I can do this thing. Oh, that's what I want. Oh, this thing doesn't exist, so I don't know that I want it, kind of a thing. But if they were born like later, they would totally be fucking trans as fuck. Okay. That's what it would be. It's totally true. I'm just saying. They would be non-binary. Okay.
This is why I love him. He likes makeup, fashion, feminine stuff, but he knows that he is a man. Men can like feminine things. Just because a man likes feminine things does not make them a woman, LMAO. Another guy said, Jeffree is cool as shit for this, called out the sensitive bullshit too. I was pleasantly surprised. All of it was just great. But of course, people on the internet were triggered about it, like this little man who decided to do a response video.
Man.
I don't know what he was trying to achieve by this, like show women that he was...
Wait, is it going to be an actual little man or a trans person that Brett's trying to be an asshole to?
...is a male girl boss.
Hey,
I don't
Tim, how
really
you
know,
doing?
but this was his response.
I woke up to that clip today, and I watched the entire thing, so you didn't have to.
Oh.
There's one thing that Jeffree Star says that kind of irked me.
Okay. So the whole culture of everyone saying that they're this and that, it's like, oh, it's too many labels. Yeah, you killed somebody. Just be yourself.
I agree with the too many labels thing, okay? I agree with that fundamentally, okay? Oh, I gotta keep that. All right, they can't kill me now. I'm a black guy. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Anyway, it'll be racist if they kill me. I agree with that, like pansexual, demisexual, this, that, and the other thing. It's like, come on, man. Like I don't know. I like non-binary. I kind of get it, but like we don't need to go too complicated. You know, some of the labels are crazy. Obviously, though, you know, that's not exactly the message that Jeffree's trying to communicate. It's more just about not really liking non-binary people. But oh shit.
Wait, so he's tired of the labels and he just wants people to be themselves? But don't these labels help people express themselves and help them be their true selves? To people who are a part of this community, these labels are their identity. But he also wants these people to just be yourself. You can catch how that's ironic.
It really is not that...
I don't think it's ironic. Oh, sad stuff. I don't think it's ironic. I think it's a good point that you're making. That holy fuck. That the labels help people become themselves. They help them become. But I don't think it makes it like irony. But
complicated. But first of all, we have to read the comments because the people in his comment section were just not as bought into this as he was. Somebody said he's not wrong. It's mostly white people who are begging to be oppressed. Somebody else said, nah, there's too many labels right now in the LGBT.
I don't know, maybe.
Community.
I feel like there's always going to be some people, like I said before, that might be non-binary that aren't actually non-binary and they're just saying that for attention. And so that those people make the actual people look bad. Boondock
It is ridiculous.
Bros.
Another girl said, too many to understand. Just tell me your name. Be yourself is personality, not gender. I only remember faces too. It is too much. That last comment especially, be yourself is personality, not gender. What Jeffree is saying in that video, contrary to what this little man is saying, actually makes a ton of sense when you think about it in the context of other things that he has said. Back in 2019, he went on a podcast and he addressed all of this, and he said that around the ages of 19 to 20, he thought that he might be transgender, and he was exploring that. But he went on to say, I had so many thoughts in my head because I've always been really feminine, and I didn't understand that I could be a male and wear makeup and feminine clothes and not be a woman. I was confused. When people would call Jeffree Star a cross-dresser, he said that he would reply, I am just Jeffree. I like looking like this, he said. I was so confused mentally for years, and I really thought about transitioning. Now, age 34, Star said that he is really comfortable in his own skin.
That makes sense. It sounds like they learn to be able to like cope through like identifying with themselves. And then one of my brother died. Oh, Jesus.
He is saying be your true self. He is not talking about the identity that you made up to feel special or the labels you have put on yourself in order to feel unique. He is
Jesus Christ. Oh, well, I died.
Saying you do not have to change your gender or your labels in order to be a unique person with a unique personality and unique interests. Literally, just be who you are, who you were born as. That is unique enough. Like, this is not something that should be controversial. It is simply what young people need to hear right now.
As long as I know the shape of my soul, I'll be all right.
Feeling different and feeling confused is part of growing up. It is part of being a unique human being. It is part of the human experience. It does not mean that you need to chop off your reproductive body parts and say that you are the opposite gender, or maybe not even a gender at all.
The problem I have with this video here is that Jeffree Star is explicitly talking about non-binary people and that they don't get it. And Brent, whatever, has said multiple times, like, oh, you don't have to, like, you keep bringing it to all of trans people. It's very clear that Jeffree Star is trans-affirming. They just don't really agree with non-binary people. And like, oh, you don't have to chop off a body part, blah, 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 blah. Okay, but that's not what you're hijacking the message. That was never the message. So like you're just being weird. Like you're not even consistent. I'm gonna fuck him up now.
It's not complicated. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the comment section and that you maybe even learned something new. If you have not already, like this video, subscribe to this channel, and of course, ring that notification bell so that you never miss a comment section episode.
Okay, well that was something. There you go.
I want Papa Gut to pee on my face, but just as a friend. There's nothing weird about that. I want him to pee on my face.